Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Timesphere podcast. The podcast where we're like never on time, I guess, is kind of our thing now. Don't really feel like our moniker is holding up to the standard and kind of like what our the description on our the description on our pages
Well,
reads.
well, it exists. The time sphere exists. It is a sphere in time. It's just that time was 8 months ago.
Yeah, you're not
But
wrong.
yeah. So yeah, our brains have been completely turned off since then. As soon as we hit stop on our last record, a weird like, not like a Freaky Friday situation. We didn't switch bodies, but like the electricity from the computers zapped our brains, and we just kind of been sitting here comatose for about 8 months.
God, I
So
wish.
yeah. Well, I've been completely shut off for 8 months. So I'm excited to play GTA 6 next month. That's gonna be great. I trust that my Game Pass subscription is still the same price. And oh yeah, that Switch 2 thing came out, but it's probably not very good.
Yep. Look, we don't know the how Scott. If you had to guess, how much do you think you'd be paying for a Switch 2, if said Switch 2 was to come out within the next couple months for you?
I would probably be paying. I actually forgot how much it really was. I'm gonna try.
It was $500. It was $500.
No, that's too much. In 2025,
What do you mean,
no.
Scott? Hey, Scott! Surprise! We're in the future now, and tariffs are a thing.
Oh God. Oh
You-
no. I want to go back to sleep.
Ooh, spooky tariffs.
Oh, but those the right wing media source where I get all my news from said that was going to be good for me.
Yes,
we're
very
making
good.
money off these.
Yes, it's making money. If by making money you mean spending more for your Game Pass subscription, spending more for all of your hardware,
no.
consoles
Oh,
getting more
no.
expensive than cheaper as they get older. The usual. Uh, man, a lot's happened in the 8 months since we decided to get mics in front of our faces.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I say that like we haven't been in calls like every other night playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
And just not recording a podcast because we weren't in the mood.
That should be. I keep
record
saying that should
podcasts.
be the podcast. Although there's probably a lot of unhinged things that wouldn't make it into the final.
If we just recorded like our group playing Marvel Rivals and uploaded that as a podcast, I don't think we would be allowed on the internet anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I would say. I mean, there's got to be more unhinged rivals group stacks.
Oh
than
yeah,
ours.
we're
I
not
don't think
anywhere
I don't think we're
near
not
like the top of
worst.
that list, but none of them are doing
No.
like what. None of them are just putting themselves on the internet, and if they are, they're content creators already.
Yeah, well, we should be the next like gaming collective, except it's just like the people who just like get on a Discord call and make videos, and then that is their job.
I think Reno would get us all canceled.
Yeah, not if I get to it first.
That's true. True. You can beat her. Speedrun.
Speedrun, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if we can talk about the news, I think before we get into today's news or like the recent stuff that's been going on, we kind of got to catch up a little.
We have eight. So we have 8 months of news ish. Yeah. I mean, obviously we've
Yeah.
been pretty tuned in, even though we haven't been doing the podcast. Just in general, tuned in, whether we write about it or not, about what's been going on. So we've got like kind of the highlights. I say the highlights, like most of them are good. For the last like 8 months, kind of just gonna run through a lot of these like bigger talking points. We're gonna generally just try and keep the topics tight. I'm gonna pull up a timer. I forgot to get my iPad out so I could like see the timer as we're going. But I'm going to put a general timer for 5-ish minutes. We're just gonna try and keep it tight. Discuss each topic because there's quite a few of them. Once we get to the end, we'll loosen up a little bit because we're going to talk about game releases and thoughts on games we've been playing and whatnot, just to catch up. But if you haven't been keeping up with gaming news, welcome. A lot has happened. Not a lot of it's good.
There's a lot of good games have come out.
Yes. A lot of good games, a lot of good projects,
And then a lot of other things happened.
a lot of layoffs, a lot of delays, a lot of general price increases and price disparities. Discussions on pricing is a big thing. Yeah, man. There's a lot. We'll go. I'll start the discussion on this one. So,
Mm-hmm.
WV closes Monolith Soft, cancels the Wonder Woman game, closes player first games, Multiverse is shut down. That was post player first game.
This was
Same.
weeks after our last.
Yeah.
This was like one of the most recent things that happened after we.
Yes.
Now it's funny. I almost remember. I thought for a second that this had happened when we had last recorded.
They announced it. They had already announced it that it was
Okay.
going to be shut. So we didn't know player first games was going to get shut down though.
Yeah, because I think I remember ranting about Shadow of War and like or essentially the Monolith like
the whole situation
wasting like making two great Lord of the Rings games, like giving them a big runway for Wonder Woman only to just like release it, and then or to not release it, and then just letting this Nemesis system, which I've always touted as one of the coolest things in gaming, just essentially go by the wayside. Just really really sad. And I guess we got the follow up to that is like they have said what their big four are going to be going forward, which is DC Universe, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and there's something I'm forgetting. This dog picked the second for me to start talking to start messing with my cat. Unbelievable, Kira. I know it's not popular for people on the internet to what's it called? Discipline their dogs with devices, but I'm willing to do it.
You gonna spark the next giant conflict about dog collars?
Yeah, so we do have we have like a collar that vibrates, but we only do it explicitly when she is roughhousing with Peter and being too rough. So this may be one of the few situations where it's called for. Let me just check and see if they're still going at it. No, Peter got the high ground. Good, that's what he should be doing. Like, I'm not blaming him, but like he should just get the high ground when she starts messing with him.
You know what we can blame though? Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I think Warner Brothers are to blame for this. Kira was really a good dog until they got rid of multiverses, and then she really just took a turn for the worse.
It's wild that we're at a point now where I was listening to Game Mess Mornings while I was playing some games and doing some work last night, and just like this and Grub coming from a place where he doesn't play fighting games and stuff, but Matt Piscatella was the guest, so very knowledgeable about like sales and data. Talking about the $100 bundle for 2XKO that has like the arcane skins and stuff, and Desmond talking the other night about going to buy that, even though he's played 2XKO for a total of like 30 minutes since it came out into its open-ish beta, 1.0, whatever you want to call this like slow launch that Riot likes to do with its more recent live service titles.
Yep.
There's just like, I miss multiverses, but not in the form that it was. For reference, we know all this news and we have like bullet points pulled up for some of the bigger topics, but there's a whole reported internal kind of like leak of what the culture around player first games was during the development of multiverses, why Warner Brothers took it offline, why the original open beta was monetized, and like the slow degradation of that project while it was still up for longer than it was originally going to be up in that open beta initially. The relaunch, things that happened between the open beta going down and the relaunch, why things took so long, the move to Unreal Engine 5, I believe, all that kind of stuff. There's you can go read it yourself. There's tons of posts and tons of reports on it. I think that was one of the last things I wrote about it. I might have wrote about that at Dot still, because that was coming out before the game relaunched, or because it was right as the game was relaunching. Because I did do a kind of preview for the relaunch while I was still at Dot. But yeah, Multiverse is just the relaunch version of the game just didn't feel the same as the early game. It was slower.
No, it kind of it lost that.
It felt bogged down. Obviously, the monetization was suspect. Even though I did like the legacy store was pretty cool in how you just play and you earn these points that you can use to get items that are exclusive to a store where you just earn them, and they were really cool skins and stuff, like the Batman Who Laughs and stuff like that. But it felt like the game did not have enough support. Obviously, it was developed by a smaller studio at the time. Player First Games is not a big studio. It was developed in a way that felt unique, but there's not really a market for that free to play fighting game when it's not Brawlhalla. Obviously, there's not a platform. There's no big platform fighter that's competing with a Smash Bros. Right now, even though we haven't had a Smash since Ultimate, and that game hasn't been updated since 2021 outside of like some minor event stuff. So there's this gap that has now been filled by Rivals of Aether to an extent, or Rivals of Aether 2 to an extent, which is a great game. But the relaunch of Multiverses felt substantial in the fact that the product felt degraded from the open beta, which is crazy. Like, the story mode, the single player stuff was, in my opinion, terrible. I did not like doing it.
Yeah, I remember this. It just felt grindy and just.
It was grindy. There was like the mini games weren't fun. They were sometimes they weren't intuitive a lot of the time. The boss fights weren't fun. The gimmick, obviously, like the gimmicks were fine in terms of like how you had to beat players or like the added effects and stuff. But that's something that some items and abilities give you, anyways. The moral of the story. I miss Multiverses. I'm sad it's gone, but the form that game was in, it wasn't going to hold up to a Rivals of Aether, even though it obviously would have had more players than Rivals of Aether just because of the IP. I wish that game had more behind it, more support, more an ability to not turn into what it was. And then obviously Monolith closed the door on the old era of DC games, and now we're entering this new era of DC games, probably starting with the new Lego Batman game that looks like a hybrid of like what the old Lego Batmans were, plus Arkham in certain ways, including the combat looking very Arkhamish. So we talked a little. You mentioned James Gunn being very bullish on trying to have certain elements of the games or like certain game projects be blended into the DCU, whatever they're doing with it, movie wise, animation wise, all that kind of stuff. So I'm optimistic for the future of like certain projects at Warner Brothers, but they do not have a good track record. I don't think that Big Four idea is going to hold much weight, especially considering all the other things that are going wrong at that company. Also, I don't care about Game of Thrones or Harry Potter. So
I think they just had a teaser for a new Game of Thrones show today. It's like Life of a Knight or something like that, or like A Night on the Road or something like that. And it looks sort of more like fun and like more like a character piece as opposed to like, you know, House of the Dragon just being like gloom and like edginess and dark and broody all the time. It's supposed to be like, this feels like a seismic shift or like a tone shift. I'm glad you brought up Legacy of the Dark Knight, this Lego game. I think this was revealed at either Summer Games Fest or Gamescom. I think it was Gamescom.
Opening Night Live.
And this was the only thing that really like stuck out to me. That really popped to me. Where I was like, I've been waiting for a new Arkham game. You know, I don't own a VR headset, although I did hear that Arkham Shadow
Arkham Shadows is good. I got to play it at a friend's house, and it is for what it's trying to do. It is very good. They know they even in the trailers, and I will always give credit to people who don't sugarcoat their trailers when it comes to VR stuff. They showed some of the jank of like how you have to move around in the trailers. Like they were being super transparent about it. But even then, like it's seamless. It feels good. It feels like Arkham, just in like a new way. It was good. Very good experience. If you have the ability to play it, try it.
But this sort of looks like it does seem like it's like they did say it was going to be similar to like the size of like the Arkham City kind of level. So like it's not going to be like, you know, a baby down version. And you just saw so many, like, it was just so many of the hits from Arkham, you know, the driving, the gliding, even doing the little, like, spraying the explosive gel in the shape of the bat signal and, like, ducking as you blow it because you're standing right next to it. And they got Matt Berry to do Bane. I love Matt Berry, so he's going to do a great job. This as much, and really, but like, it better be good because I just pulled up, like, Warner Brothers games, like, upcoming games. It's this. And nothing else.
They don't have a slate. They do not have a slate.
There's really nothing like who knows what the hell's Rocksteady's gonna do after Suicide Squad.
We're not going to see stuff from Rocksteady. We're not going to see stuff from. We're still at least a year or two out from whatever the Hogwarts, the next Hogwarts Legacy game, whatever that's going to be.
I did see a report from Mike over at Mike Straw at Insider Gaming, because in between, I think I was actually still doing an Insider stuff before we had our hiatus. That a new investment group wants a Lord of the Rings game, like in the same like style or same scope as like a Hogwarts Legacy, and I'm like, it sounds good on paper. I mean, obviously it's gonna take a long time.
Who's gonna make it? Warner Brothers.
That's a great question.
Rights. Yeah, Warner Brothers doesn't have those game rights anymore.
It's Embracer, right?
Well, it's the corpse of Embracer in one of those three pieces that they split the company up into, which one of them has the rights to like all the Lord of the Rings game properties and stuff.
Yeah, and they've already done such a great job. The Gollum game was such a
Tales of the Shire. Shire was like okay.
Tales of the Shire. That's a game about Jason Schreier and
Jason
his
Schreier.
Shout
out Mike Straw. Shout out Jason Schreier already.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm bullish on DC Comics and I'm bullish on DC movies. Not so bullish on DC or Warner Brothers. I'm bullish on DC Comics and DC movies. I'm not bullish on Warner Brothers projects / Warner Brothers games, especially not the game side right now. So we'll see. I hope the Lego Batman game is good. I know it's TT. I know it's a lot of the same team that's done a lot of that stuff. But
I trust them.
Yeah, so we'll see how that goes. Now, I'll lead off discussion here, Scott, because I want you to look up the release kind of window for when GTA's new delay is. If you have that up, because GTA 6 did get delayed. It was going to be this year. I believe what the guesstimated window was going to be between September and November, that kind of like fall time frame. It is now going to be next spring.
Yeah, May 26, 2026.
Oh, they do have a date. I forgot. Yeah,
is the current official date. Although I saw something from Economic Times that like it might go out a little bit later. Actually, they're citing Tom Henderson, also Insider Gaming, who said it could be a little later. This isn't really a report. This is just sort of like, I think this is from the podcast that they do, that he thinks it'll probably come out a little later. But let's say for hypothetical sake that it is going to come out this year in May 2026, late May 2026.
Yeah. So let's put it this way. That was a big breath of relief for everybody that's not Nintendo this year. Nintendo never is going, like, probably will never care about releasing a game at the same time as someone else for the most part. But,
yeah, because the people like the Grand Theft Auto players are not Nintendo players.
And if they are, then they'll be like, I'm gonna go play GTA, and then I'll go play Nintendo once I'm done with GTA. Like, it's just like, two separate worlds.
The only thing is like they'd want to get away from like the only thing is like, because Nintendo does want to attract like a general audience. Like Nintendo aren't solely like about their fan base and no one else. Although sometimes feel like that. I'm sure they're happy to have maybe some of their bigger games get away. Yeah,
well, it's like, if Mario Kart was going to release at the same time as the GTA, that would be a little more concerning than Donkey Kong's going to release in the 2-week window.
The driving's 1-to-1, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what happens in Mario Kart World. For all the people who didn't want to pay $80 or $500 and then $80 to get Mario Kart World on the Switch 2. It's just GTA. The open world section, you just run around as your character and you just steal cars. That's it.
Yeah.
You get to shoot Toad.
You can start a weed farm. You can do that.
True.
Yeah, these are all things you can do.
It's also available on iOS. I saw that ad earlier. I saw it on Instagram. Mario starting his weed farm after finishing a race. Yeah.
So what were we gonna guess about what we're saying about the new release date?
I just wanted to like get a general idea of like what, because we're in a weird era of gaming now where we're past the point of needing to announce your game 6 months to a year in advance if you're gonna release it. A lot of companies announce it a month in advance, 2 months in advance, maybe even a couple weeks in advance if you're a smaller game.
Unless they're big titles.
Yes, unless you're big budget stuff. So. A lot of companies haven't announced stuff for spring next year because they wait until like a 6-month window or a 4-month window to have their showcase, like a Nintendo Direct or a state of play or anything like that, and then they kind of give you the next like 4 months, 5 months of games, maybe a little tease for a little bit further out. Obviously, like with Wolverine, we got tease for late next year, and then we'll get more of that game plus a actual release date, probably spring is what they said.
Yeah,
That
and then
spring
we'll
presentation.
see. And we can still see if that will change, because if GTA 6 does end up getting delayed, potentially that kind of moves things around too. Because here's what we've got. So right now it's listed for May 26th, and right now there's like really April and June. There's nothing in that like window.
Yeah.
There's like Castle of Shikigami 3, which just says April 2026. Doesn't even have like a specific date. Really, so there's a number of things in March that are of interest to me. 007 First Light.
Yep.
Which I don't know, was that announced after we went on hiatus?
Yes. The game, no. The game we knew about, the gameplay, the actor, and the date.
IO Interactive. It's the Hitman devs. Yeah.
Yep.
Saros, starring one of my favorite actors, Raul Coley. That's coming out like March 20th. Crimson Desert the day before, March 19th.
The RPG that's based on the MMO. Yep.
High on Life 2 in February. Mario Tennis Fever, February 12th. I'm gonna be playing that.
I'm not paying $70 for that.
Neo, yeah, it's gonna be. Hope it's cheater. Neo 3 in February 6th. And then nothing crazy in January. At least there's.
Yeah, that's also out. January and February are a little out of the GTA window. We'll touch more on the sales. We'll touch more on the sales in a bit when we talk about Switch 2 and some games specifically. But the element of it probably a 3-month gap between your game and GTA is probably a safe bet. You obviously you want to be before, not after, because people are going to be playing GTA consistently post-launch as long if the online is functioning. Obviously, the player base is just going to grow, especially when it comes to PC, because we still, I believe, they still are going console only at launch, and not PC. And obviously, the online is going to be boring, just like most games. Jesus Christ!
These pets who have been doing nothing all day have decided. Right when I want to start recording something, they also triggered he knocked over the little dice on a pegboard I have. He also messed with the lighting and set it up to like rave mode. So you can come sit with me now, Mr. Man. Yeah, so we can see. I'm sorry, I lost track.
You're good. The major thing is there's not a lot of games. The games that. Soros and Bond are the only two games in there that I think are like really big budget, and they're happy to get out ahead of GTA. Soros, it's going to hit up market. It's probably going to sell about as well, if not better than. I think it's definitely going to sell better than whatchamacallit, their previous game. Yeah, Returnal. I think it's going to sell better than that. I think it's going, and I think it's, I don't know, we'll see how it's received, but I think it's got, the install base is there for the PlayStation 5 now compared to when it launched. So we'll see how that goes. I think that's happy to get out ahead of GTA, and then Bond is definitely happy to get out ahead of GTA just because they don't want any kind of competition with that game, even if it is going to be different. That is going to have more of an audience crossover than Soros would. But those two are the only games that I was like, okay, yeah, those getting out ahead of GTA are really good because they don't have to worry about fighting for audience share, and they're getting out pretty well ahead of it if the May date sticks without any further delay. We're going to start seeing positioning happen pretty heavily around that presumed May date. And if there is another delay, then we're going to see more positioning because people are going to flee. We might actually see games get moved up.
Yeah. I think we saw that a little bit. A lot of games that were targeting this like sort of November window or October, November. Ghost of Yotei just came out. I think potentially if GTA was still coming out in November, that could have gotten moved back a little. I'm not sure exactly what else is coming up in the next month, but I'm sure. Oh, Battlefield 6 tomorrow.
Battlefield 6 is tomorrow. Yeah.
We were going to talk about that in a little bit. That and Call of Duty. This is not competing with GTA, but I'm really excited for Dispatch. That game was right up my alley.
Dispatch at the end of the month. Pokemon's in a week.
Yeah. Call of Duty, and of course Call of Duty itself. We've got about that is coming in.
The new Zelda Warriors game.
Oh, actually, like a month still. Oh wow, okay. But yeah. But speaking of big games with big budgets. Something else that we missed during our time off was this new Ubisoft and Tencent subsidiary that they formed, which apparently now has a name, Vantage Studios, and went live.
That was recent. They recently
at the beginning of this month, but it was announced back in like March. It was actually announced right around the time, I believe, that the kind of around actually no, it was late March 27th. March 27th. It is a $4 billion euro subsidiary that has a quarter ownership by Tencent, so they own 25%, and it manages the main franchises of
Assassin's Creed,
Far Cry, and Rainbow Six or Tom Clancy stuff.
Tom Clancy. The three biggest IP that Ubisoft owns.
Yes. This was. I'm really curious what this means for these. It does feel like these games are getting the priority treatment and they're being treated as their big three franchises. One of those came out this year, Assassin's Creed Shadows, which was good. It was very good. It was a game that I was high on, and it was very enjoyable. Is it going to be a game of the year candidate? No, but that doesn't dismiss it from being bad, but also just shows the quality of games that came out in this year,
It was a good game. I don't like Assassin's Creed that much. The last Assassin's Creed I played all the way through was Brotherhood. I played Black Flag all the way through. I didn't finish Odyssey, but I got pretty far in that. So like here and there, I'll play through an Assassin's Creed and have a decent time with it. The last couple. The last two didn't grab me. I didn't even try Valhalla just because I'd heard mixed things about it. But the game itself was good. There was obviously all the BS around it, historically, all the people calling it woke and whatnot. Stupid. I hate those kind of discussions because they never have any substance. But yeah, so we're at a point with Ubisoft where it feels like they have nothing going for them, really.
They said back in July they're going to reorganize into creative houses that will enhance quality, focus autonomy and accountability while fostering it's corporate speak.
It's corporate speak for they're reorganizing all of their teams to try and focus down on projects that they know will hit.
Yeah.
And they're cutting out the fat. Obviously, shout out Stephen Totillo and GameFile yesterday for breaking the news about a canceled Ubisoft canceled
for the dumbest, stupidest reason we've ever heard.
Yeah, canceling is a reconstruction, reformation, that kind of era of America.
Yeah, like Civil War, like close to Civil War era. Assassin's Creed or post-Civil War Assassin's Creed,
and canceled for the exact reasons you think a game like that would be canceled, knowing how Ubisoft handled the backlash to Yasuke
Shadows,
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, they're worried about the loud annoying
minority who's only on Twitter talking about anything and everything that doesn't fit their exact parameter for white supremacist video game representation. Or big booby woman that fits.
Apparently,
it's so stupid.
Apparently, it's woke to want to shoot racists in a video game.
Yep. Remember when shooting Nazis and the KKK was not considered over the top?
Yeah. And this has been like as recent. I mean, Wolfenstein is literally a game entirely about killing Nazis. In Red Dead Redemption 2, Mafia 3, that you shoot KKK members. It's like oh no, like racists in the South in the 1800s. It's like who are doing horrible, abhorrent things. Like, well, we can't kill them. It's like Assassin's Creed has always been about historical relevance and and accuracy and and even with Shadows, they're like, oh, but this isn't an actual real people. It's like there's enough stories and recollections and notes in history that this person did exist. There's not a lot known about him. I'm talking about Yasuke here, but there's not a lot that's known. Like they don't have like his exact full biography, so they're having a little fun and filling in the blanks with stuff that they think will be fun for a story, and I think that's fine. And it's a video game. It's supposed to be like fun and like I don't know. I think it'd be funny to like hunt Confederates in an Assassin's Creed game. We've hunted Templars, we've hunted samurai, we've hunted pirates, we've hunted Italians, Spanish. Every single English people in what the Vikings won. Every group has always been a target in an Assassin's Creed game. But God forbid we go after post Civil War Confederates. That's a step too far.
Yeah,
we can rant about this for days.
Flashback to WB. Hey, Warner Brothers, if you want an easy win, make like a short, like just hour-long experience with Creature Commandos where you're just GI robot killing Nazis. Just do that. That's an easy win. There you go.
They won't. They should.
They won't. Oh no, they're gonna do. They would do an Ubisoft before they did that. They would be like, oh, what do you mean? We're not doing anything offensive to your sensibilities, weak-minded white Americans.
The only people, like, if Gunn went in there and like demanded it, he was like, I want a game where you kill Nazis. Like I could see him going and demanding a Creature Commandos game, but probably won't happen.
I'll briefly touch on this, and then we can talk about the thing that actually matters of the stuff above the Ubisoft thing. Saudi Arabia owns Niantic Games now. I don't know what they're obviously they're probably just under Scopely, a team under Scopely now, but for a lot of money, Scopely, a subsidiary of one of Saudi Arabia's public investment funds, who and their gaming division has been purchasing mobile developers. They reached a deal with Niantic to purchase the gaming division, which includes the development teams for Pokemon Go, Monster Hunter Now, Pikmin Bloom, and Ingress. I think is still. I think they get Ingress too, so they get 4 games plus whatever projects, whatever other projects that are under that scope, I guess. They're changing the game in terms of like how they develop it a little bit. They're being a little bit more freeing in how things work. They're adding a new mechanic called challenges, weekly challenges, I think was the name. They're literally adding that today or with the upcoming Halloween events. The game itself is evolving for the better. Do I care? Not really. I like Pokemon Go. I am happy that the game is getting better. I'm happy that the game is getting supported. They had a really cool thing at Pokemon Worlds where during the closing ceremony of Worlds, they announced they shadow dropped Eternatus max raids, and they only dropped it in Anaheim. So people left the arena and were in the streets for hours playing Pokemon Go and raiding together.
Holding up traffic.
Yeah, all over the place. We went to a scratch bar afterwards, and we passed like dozens of groups of people running around, going for raids. But yeah, so the game is getting better. If you're a Pokemon Go fan, great. I don't like that Saudi Arabia owns it. I don't think that has any implication for Pokemon or anything moving forward. Obviously, the public investment fund does own, I believe, a 5% stake in Nintendo. So there's already a connection there in terms of like some sort.
You froze. All right.
Oh, did I freeze?
You froze a bit on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just like it sucks that Saudi Arabia now owns Pokemon Go and everything. But if for casual fans, it's not going to matter. I already know my sister-in-law plays Pokemon Go and has been like, the game's getting better and all these things. I'm trying to get to level 50 or whatever before the changes to level caps or happen. I'm like, okay, like that's cool.
It does reflect a little bit of like, I know from a little bit of like experience working from my full-time job, that there is like a genuine, like really massively growing gaming population in Saudi, and that it's really popular with like a bunch of higher ups and people in the royal family. So it's not really necessarily a thing where they're just doing it just to own stuff. I think there is genuine like interest in these projects and seeing it as a growth market. But I understand where people are coming from, seeing it like, just buying up more and more stuff and just, and feeling a bit of dread from that. It's understandable.
Shout out to the Crown Prince, the alleged Crown Prince spending God knows how much money on every Dota 2 battle pass, and then me getting absolutely flamed for reporting on it one time, and still getting DMs about it from like 2018. So
we love an esports supporter.
yep. And speaking of reporting, Scott, good news for once in our industry.
Yes. Oh my God, I'm so glad we can talk about this.
Yeah. So in the span of like a 2-month period, Game Informer was announced that Game Informer through I don't remember the name of the company, but through a company which, to be fair, has ties to crypto Web3 ish stuff. So that element sucks, but in part independent, they acquired the rights to Game Informer from GameStop and GameStop's parent company and all that stuff, and then brought back the entire Game Informer team that was let go when it went under last summer, and they've also expanded a little bit now. Shout out Eric Van Allen, and that team, Alex Wesley.
Yeah.
Shout out that entire team. That's great. Love, absolutely love that team is back doing stuff, doing awesome interviews and features. They're back doing their podcasts and live streams now. As of when we're recording this, they've been doing that for a little bit again. They're just having that force of like actual, like a full team being able to have the resources in the name of Game Informer in the industry is just a net positive across the board.
Yeah. Really happy to see them back. I got a chance to meet Eric when I flew out to LA for the Mecha Break event.
Hell yeah. Eric's awesome.
We just went back and forth on like, hey, remember when we worked for the Gamers Corporation?
Yeah, yep. That's a very common topic of conversation.
Very big talking point amongst games media journeymen. But yeah, it's happy to see them get back. My girlfriend renewed her physical subscription, so we get that once a month. Yeah, it's just it's happy. Two big independent games media wins. I mean, a bunch of also smaller wins. Like, there's a lot of like independent games media outlets you can support now. And a big one in this household that I also who you mentioned earlier, Giant Bomb also going independent.
Now fully owned by Grub and the leadership over there that we're running.
I think the company that owns it is Definitely Incorporated, because it's Jeff Grubb and Jeff Bakalar. But the two of them, Mike Minotti, Dan Reichert, Janet Choa, they now own Giant Bomb. They bought.
Brahms is a restaurant here in Oklahoma.
Ooh, I should check them out. But yeah, I mean, they're doing shout out to them, and just, you know, it was just happy to see them, because they had it was a weird thing where where were they with? It was
GameSpot.
Fox?
It was fandom.
It was fandom, yeah. And so there was like a weird thing where like they were talking about it when it was happening. It's like their boss's boss had like wanted to change a bunch of things, and then they were
fandom was trying to make them more PG. Like, they were trying to do some changes to make it more palatable to like advertisers and stuff, because fandom is ad driven.
There's a now infamously deleted episode of the Bombcast where they had their notes from fandom about being more PG, and they kind of like took the dial to 11 in like a mocking version, like we're overly like silly.
I remember watching part of that when it got
said
it's on the Reddit still. You can still find it.
You can still find it. They said they won't upload it because because eventually it did have a nice ending with them leaving and getting ownership, and fandom being, from what I can tell and from what the Jeffs and the Giant Bomb people said, fandom being really nice about it
sounded like a very good situation in terms of like how, because you don't see this a lot. You don't see big company that lives off of IP and lives off of advertising like content and stuff give up
there was
stuff.
There was a second where it looked like they were going to like that fandom was going to keep the Giant Bomb assets and kind of like relaunch with new people. There was like kind of like hinted at like a little bit like on the official Giant Bomb socials where it's like, oh, keep tuned to see what's next for Giant Bomb, and immediately everyone on X and Blue Sky were like, nope, no,
Yeah, subscription,
no,
subscription's
no,
gone. Like, not supporting this anymore. We're gonna wait until we see what the actual Giant Bomb creators do. Like all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's very similar to a lesser extent with how I don't know if Discovery kept ownership of it at the time, but when the original like group of SourceFed left back in the mid 2010s.
Oh, wow, no, yeah,
and they all left, and like the host that had replaced a bunch of the original people left, and then they took like a hiatus, and then Discovery or whoever owned SourceFed tried to relaunch it. It just didn't work because people were there for the talent that were building everything, and like there was no communication, there was no try and build up to this new thing. It just felt like a soulless, like, we're just going to use this giant asset that we have to do this thing. So it is what it is. Shout out Game Informer, shout out Giant Bomb, shout out all independent games media. We'll talk a little bit about that more later, I'm sure. But yeah, just if you have the opportunity to support VGC, to support Game Informer, Giant Bomb,
Min-Max,
Kind of Funny, any of these, but why
kind
though?
Kind of Funny just had their 2000
Games Daily. Yep,
they've been
this is their 10th year. This is their 10th year of operation.
Yeah, they're doing great.
Yep.
So it's actually a really good time for games media because there's so much good independent stuff, and even like. I think since we left that our former website went to new management.
Yep.
And I use Feedly now to like keep up on like games media as a whole, and so I try and make a point to go to Dot every day and check out because they still have some good coverage on there. They still cover Valorant.
Wow, there's still esports coverage happening.
There is
Couldn't
still
be me.
Esports coverage on.
We'll talk about that later.
I mean. There is still esports coverage on Esports, believe it or not.
Yeah, I think we can probably we'll try and speedrun a couple of these. We don't really the SGF Gamescom, like most people already know what got revealed and what was shown. We talked about a little bit of it. Is there any like specific thing from that you want to talk about?
Well, I talked about from Gamescom the Arkham Knight game already, or the Arkham Knight, the Lego Arkham Knight game.
Lego Batman having the Arkham game.
Yes. What was the big thing from Summer Games Fest?
It was Mafia.
What was like
Summer Game Fest? I don't even remember. It's been
cause they like, was this the one where he was like, where Jeff was like near tears at the end, being like, I'm so excited to have this, and it being like, oh well, all right, that's cool, I guess. Was it Death Stranding 2?
No, it was
Resi. That was announced. Oh, the next Resident Evil. Yeah.
Was it Resi? Not was it? Yeah, it was Requiem because they teased. They had the creator or like the lead of Resident Evil show up.
That's right.
And joke about because they announced they announced the anniversary whatever of 8 and like some of the other games or whatever, and then they ended it with Requiem. So and then Gamescom was Mafia, I believe, was the ending. So.
Mafia: The Old Country, that was a big one.
That came out and people have enjoyed it for what it is.
Onimusha: Way of the Sword, I think was announced there.
We got that announced at Game Awards.
Okay, I can't keep up with all this.
And
it's not my job
Capcom has ended the last. Capcom has ended the last 2 Jeff things because we got the actually, did they end? No, Intergalactic ended.
Yes.
I was thinking of Okami because Jeff was crying when he got to announce Okami.
Oh, that's it. That was the one. Okami was the one he was super excited about. Yeah.
And then Requiem ended Summer Game Fest. But yeah, Summer Game Fest, dope every year. Gamescom was like as expected. It's never the same scale as those other 2, but it was fun. It was a good watch. Now we get to the real fun stuff. Let's try and keep these next 2 kind of we can ramble a little bit, but like okay, Microsoft laid off 4% of its workforce, which is like 8,000 people on top of the 10,000 people laid off last year when finalizing reorganization from the acquisition Blizzard.
This was started July. Layoffs at a lot of studios. A lot of games were announced, including like there was like a Blizzard survival game that was being worked on for a long time that they got rid of. Perfect Dark, Perfect Everwild.
Perfect Dark got canceled. Everwild got canceled.
People behind even people behind studios that have always like the Forza Motorsport studio
got cuts.
Like it's they got cuts.
Yep. Look, it was just a giant cuts, and then more recently we just got the announcement that Game Pass is going up in subscription. I'm a little less down on that. It sucks, obviously, but the changes that they're making across the board, it seems more like a restructuring of how they're trying to offer Game Pass, because they added all tiers now give access to PC. So if you even at the lowest tier, you still get access to those games on PC at that tier. Cloud streaming is now at every tier. More games are available at every tier. Obviously, the price hike for the Ultimate sucks because that's like
a better service. But it really comes down to, I think the big thing that continues to bother people is, you know, what games are on the service, and like what gets people in there is what can you play on there. And they've added the big things in terms game wise that they added to Ultimate, which says on $30 a month. Fortnite Crew, which
that's not even out yet.
That's gonna come in November. And it's like, I understand that would make the service more valuable, but I don't play Fortnite because I'm an adult. I'm sorry. I know everyone's really big into Fortnite now because K-pop Demon Hunters are in it. It's still a children's game.
I'll have you know, I'm not spending money on K-pop Demon Hunters. I'm buying Fred from Scooby-Doo so I can make him say fuck.
Okay. Again, Fortnite, a game for children. They're also adding. No, they've always had EA Play for a while, which gives you certain access to like.
That is also available on PC Game Pass, by the way.
Yes.
Which is still that also got a price increase. So the only two that got price increases, for the record, were they renamed some stuff, they reworked those benefits we talked about, moved some stuff around, offering more stuff across the board at all tiers, and then they upped the price of. These are U.S. prices. Some places didn't go up, some places also went up, but they're different increases. Game Pass Ultimate, which is across the board, you get access to everything, including PC Game Pass. It is now. It went
Ubisoft Plus Classics is also a new thing being added.
That went from $19.99 to $29.99, and then PC Game Pass went from like $11.99 to like $16.48 or something. Like
For me, it's just like I ran out of things that I was really interested in playing on this, and then with the cost going up, it's like I don't really see. Like I can still see it being like, because the way I see it is this: it's like I always think like, oh, if I get this for a couple months instead of like when a new game comes out, I can just there's very few games that I'm still playing unless they are explicitly live service games. There are very few games that I'm still playing 2 months after I get them. So it's like, okay, I want to play Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which. One of the last podcasts we did, I said was going to be big, and well, behold, I was right. A rare W for me. And I was like, I want to play Correct Expedition 33. I'll get a couple months of Game Pass. And I got through it in a couple months. But now it's like, now a couple months is like $60 instead of $40. And then it comes down to, it's like, okay, so now a year of Game Pass Ultimate is $360. That's about, what games are now $70? That's like 5 games. So it's like, are there 5 games on the Xbox catalog over this next year that I want to play?
Is it 5 games?
If a game is $70.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because they're $80 now. Like, are games $70 or $80?
Okay,
now?
so Nintendo, the only game that has been $80 at a base was Mario Kart. Every other game that is like a new
70. Okay.
Yeah, 70 is like the baseline.
5 games. So you get so it's like the equivalent of buying 5 games outright. It's like, so am I getting 5 or more games? Because it's like, I play Valorant and it's nice to have all the agents.
Okay.
But like,
let me pull up these statistics. So this is article from Chris Scullion at VGC with information pulled from data via Matt Piscatella. Who big data person from Circana, and so
when you see discussions about sales data those come out every month, and then all the outlets run with stories on sales data, what was rising and falling, what were new games that showed up. All this data is coming from Circana, and usually Matt Piscatell is the first one to report it. So follow Matt Piscatell on Blue Sky. You can get it first, and then tell your friends. And
yeah, you also get to see the fun graphs where he has to mess around with fonts to make game titles fit. He had to mess around with fonts on the new sales, on the sales for this last month, because the new Demon Slayer
it's like 10 words long or something.
Yeah, it got on there because it was on discount and the movie came out, so people bought the game a lot. So he had to mess with the font just for that.
That's
anyways,
funny.
So for Q3 2025, Future Video Games ran a survey asking about data on purchasing frequency in the United States. So this data is only relevant to the United States, but it is a good show of a very game heavy culture and how this works. And according to the data, which I believe on Game Mess Mornings, he said this does take into account mobile gaming too. So the data might be a little bit skewed compared to just console PC. But according to the data, 18% of U.S. buyers in the video game industry buy a new video game every 6 months. So that's 2 video games a year. 12% buy it once a year. Survey also found 33% of players buy a new game less often than once per year, meaning a combined 63% of players buy 2 games or fewer every year in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't count.
2/3. So 2/3 of players.
Yeah. 2/3 of players in the United States.
So that means only a third of players are spending.
22% of players buy a new game around once every 3 months. 10% saying they buy one roughly every month. Just 4% say they buy a game more than once a month. So with that taking into account, we will learn more about why Microsoft did this at the end of October, at the end of this month, when they have their next sales, or earnings calls and stuff. We're going to hear more about it. We're going to get comments. We're going to get commentary. We're going to get some data as they share it with shareholders. But what this tells us is the people that are probably complaining the most about Game Pass are more into games than 63% of America.
Yeah.
Because you probably browse Game Pass and are like, oh, I'm gonna play Blueprints. I'm gonna play Clair Obscur. I'm gonna play an old Microsoft game. I'm gonna load up Viva Pinata. Sure. But you might also buy games. I personally buy, my spending has gone down in terms of new games. I buy a bunch. I buy more than a game a month, but most of those games are indie games. So that still counts to that total. But at full price, I bought Mario Kart because I got it with the Switch bundle. Donkey Kong. I bought Pokemon. I'm trying to think of big budget games that I purchased this year. Monster Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it.
Games. I'm trying to think with anything I didn't get it. My girlfriend got Split Fiction. I played with her, so we split the cost on that. Big games that I bought this year.
Yeah. So let's
Not
let's
a
just
lot.
Yeah.
I either played them through Game Pass. Oh, I bought Outlaws. For Switch 2.
Okay. Let's just leave it at that. To the point we're making is the Game Pass changes. Yes, that sucks that the price is going up, but the statistics probably lean to what I'm going to do if I ever get Game Pass again. I'm just going to get PC Game Pass.
Yeah.
Because it's $16. You don't get access to the full catalog, but you still get day and date as far as I'm aware. I believe when I wrote, I think that was one of the last articles I wrote for Esports Illustrated was about breaking down the changes to the Game Pass tiers and explaining what the changes were. Because a lot of people weren't focusing on that. You can there's more value at those lowest tiers now, which I think is what Microsoft wants. I think Microsoft wants to try and get more subscribers at those lower tiers while also maintaining, giving more quote unquote more value, which they say in all their corporate speak after, post, and during these announcements, of 75 day and date titles, all these new games. They added 40 games to Game Pass Ultimate plus a couple those 40 games were also spread throughout the lower tiers too.
Yeah.
when they announced this.
According to the Ultimate like store page, like if you go to buy an Ultimate plan, there are 500 plus games.
Yeah, 500 plus games.
Ultimate. And I think, but I would say that probably includes the EA Play titles and Ubisoft.
It does. It includes every title that you can download.
Still, that's a lot of games. That is a lot of games.
If you
look at it from that lens of like $30 a month, but there's 500 games here, and then you're also getting new ones too. Yeah, it's still. I guess it's still. Is it the best value in gaming, which is what a lot of people touted it as? Maybe not anymore, but like I'd still say probably a good value.
If you play more than a game a month, then yes.
Yeah, but like for me, it's like I played Quarter Obscure. I had some fun with I really got into Rematch when it first came out, but kind of like lost a little interest in it. And then it's like other than that, it's like there's really not a lot I want to play. Like the other games I want to play are either like live service games or games I own. And it's like, I don't, if you don't want to support Microsoft, I get it. If you feel like it's not for you, I get it. But I feel like it's not. It's still. I think it's still like
it is still a fine deal, especially if you you don't care about getting Ultimate. You just want PC Game Pass, or you just want the
and it used to
lower tiers.
Yeah, and I think I said this already, but it used to be more valuable to me because it's like, oh, like I play Valorant a lot, and now I get instant access to all the Valorant agents, and I don't have to do any of the grinding stuff. I could just play it from day one. But since it's funny. Ironically, in the past like couple of weeks, I've been like, oh, I want to play a little more Valorant because Champions is going on. But for the last few months prior to that, I was like,
don't you get I think you get those bonuses just using PC Game Pass too.
Maybe I get PC. Maybe I just get PC. Yeah, that makes sense. It's like if it's a partnership with Riot. Which is exclusively
all those are on PC. Well,
PC
I think the Valorant ones also apply to the console version of Valorant. Regardless,
which apparently did kind of well when it first came out.
It's doing well.
That surprised me. It's like I was like,
it's a big name. It's a big name, free to play. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, but that's fair.
To wrap up this point, the Game Pass changes are a little more nuanced than a lot of people are giving credit for. Obviously, the outrage people or the people that only have like a short form video on it are only going to be able to talk about so much, and they want to focus on the prices going up so people know just the basics. But look into it. Might still be a good deal for you, especially if you only have an Xbox or you only play on PC and there's games on Game Pass that you want. Like if you're only on Xbox and that you pay for the online to do things and you only pay if you only have an Xbox, it's still the best deal available to you to get Game Pass Ultimate, probably because you get access to everything. You're paying online, blah blah blah.
Some things coming up in just the next couple of months. I don't know why I'm like advertising for Xbox. I don't know, but I feel like I want people who are listening to like know what they're getting. It's like if you're interested in any of these games, Ninja Gaiden 4, the casting of Frank Stone, the Outer Worlds 2. I really like the Outer Worlds 1.
The Indiana Jones DLC.
Indiana Jones DLC and Football Manager 26, although I'm not sure how big that is on console. But again, PC game. If it's gonna be on PC Game Pass, you can get PC Game Pass. And the big one, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and
that alone is that's a $70 purchase, and you get some perks.
Yep. You get like day one. You're gonna get early access.
You'll get early access to the game. You're basically getting the deluxe version of the game through Game Pass Ultimate. So,
and I think the pass says like you can like earn store rewards now. So like I think
the different tiers have different.
Maybe you can pay for a battle pass or two just through that if you do. Because I know they have like a quest system. You can earn little credits and things like that. But in talking about Call of Duty, I guess we can get into what I really feel like.
No, you're skipping one.
Oh yeah,
you're skipping the other one that we need to talk about. The other bad news before we can get back to fun stuff.
Yeah,
we'll keep this one short because you've definitely heard people talk about this the most recently because it's the most recent news. Yeah. So EA fully acquired by the Saudi investment fund, the private investment fund, the PIF.
It is a $55 billion deal. It is going to be a new ownership group. Which includes Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Jared Kushner's affinity partners, one of our favorite, and the private equity firm Silver Lake. It's also the largest leverage buyout all time. Requires EA to settle $20 billion in debt.
And guess where that? Let me just. I want to touch on the point that a lot of people aren't making when they talk about this, and obviously people in our industry are, because we know what's coming. We know what's coming. A lot of these people are talking about what this means for the games, what this means for representation. I know the biggest like Sims content creator put like a big post out on Blue Sky or something, which I included in the recap of this that I did for ESI before that got nuked. So I guess I say nuked, like it's not still up, but like the representation concerns in terms of like LGBTQ plus community, just like minorities and all that stuff. Yes, obviously that's very bad. But we're in talking about like immediate impact that this is going to have on EA. Sure, they might have more freedom to make games because it's no longer going to be a public company. Sure, it might have like more assets put into certain titles, especially big budget ones. It might have more access to support studios through everything else the PIF has access to. But that you said 20 billion, right?
20 billion, yes.
Yeah, the $20 billion in debt. I like how I froze on my screen. That is a terrible freeze frame on my OBS. But the $20 billion in debt is almost assuredly going to come in budget cuts, studios being completely slashed or sold off.
Yeah.
Like just absolute madness in terms of hold on. I gotta see if I can fix this fix this camera. Oh no, there it goes. It fixed itself. But yeah, it's going to come at the cost of the workers, like Andrew Wilson, who but I don't watch what's the new Funhouse, quote unquote new Funhouse.
Oh, Inside Games.
No, the other one.
Oh no, Astro Goblin.
Yes, Astro Goblins did a skate video, but they were playing every skate game that wasn't skate, so they were playing like. Yeah, so they were playing like Toy Story, like Disney Skate.
I've been playing the new EA Skate. It's kind of I just love. It's kind of like just my sit back, relax, and listen to podcast games.
That's what.
Skating around.
That's what.
I can't help myself. It's too fun. It's just like, oh, I miss this.
Yeah, but like so in that video they just had a picture of Andrew Wilson. My Desmond was watching it when I was over at his apartment, and they just had a picture of Andrew Wilson that says actual EA CEO Andrew Wilson in the corner to fill out their border, and it's like. He sent out a public memo to like the studios thanking them for making this possible and thanking them for adding value to the company and working on all these games when like thousands of people are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Like in the next by the time this deal goes through.
So I think this is going to. It may not be closed until this is from GameSpot. This is from Blair Marnell at GameSpot. It may not be closed. The deal's not been finalized yet. It may not be closed until EA's fiscal year 2027, which begins in April 2026.
Yeah.
I will say
it's the same deal as the Microsoft deal, where it's going to take at least a year.
And they reported yesterday that they may sell or close BioWare and DICE.
Yep.
May just like it's not saying like they're hearing that they're definitely or considering it. It's just like it's definitely a thing that could happen. Is that kind of what the report is?
BioWare is not going to survive this.
I feel like it's probably best for both parties to get away from me. I think if they sell off BioWare, that's probably best for everyone involved.
It will. But will they sell the IP? Are they just going to sell the studio, or are they going to sell the IP too?
I feel like you kind of have. That's a good question.
You don't have to.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Do you think they're gonna be like, oh, we really want another Dragon Age game?
How deep into development on the new Mass Effect are they? That's the question.
That is the question. How deep they are into Mass Effect? Because I think they potentially that's the one thing I think that they may consider hanging on to BioWare if they think that is going to do well, which I think it could do well. I think it could
too. It just depends on. There's so many factors that we still don't know about this.
Yeah.
We know it's going to be bad for the workers, and it's probably going to be bad for gamers in the long run, just like the Activision deal has been for Xbox in terms of like the value it's given to people and like blah blah blah. Like none of these giant acquisitions are good. They never end up good. It just hurts the industry in the long run because consolidation is bad.
There's always layoffs. I mean, like, I don't want to say like from an economics perspective, like in like a market perspective, consolidation isn't always bad in terms of like, oh, this is the wrong thing to do strategically. A lot of times it's the right thing to do. It's just it always sucks for the people who are being consolidated because it almost always ensures that a lot of people are going to lose their jobs.
There are very few instances of a bigger company buying out a smaller company, and which in this case we can't even really use that analogy because it's a group of companies buying out one of the biggest gaming companies that also owns other companies. But just using Activision Blizzard's the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard as the example of what this is most likely going to look like in terms of now, to be fair, this is a different instance because EA will be going private.
Yes.
And they will not be a part of a public company anymore. So that different kinds of pressure, still a lot of debt, still a lot of other issues that are going to be dealt with that are still likely going to lead to thousands of people losing their jobs. But different.
It does mean it probably means that the big heavy hitters are probably still going to be fine. I mean, World of Warcraft is still going, Call of Duty is still going, Overwatch 2 is surprisingly still going. In fact, actually, it's kind of been
it's doing better than it has in years.
It's doing better than ever. I think I'm not saying that's because of Microsoft or anything particular.
No, it's because of Stadium. It's because of the developers. Yeah.
And I think, well, it's also because of Marvel Rivals.
Shout out
Liz.
Liz.
we've got a real, shout out to our friend, our longtime colleague Liz, who's now with the Overwatch editorial team. Which honestly, where else was she gonna end up? Like that's like the perfect place for her. But what really,
Working
I mean,
at a
also
thrift store.
Yeah, Marvel Rivals really lit a spark under them. It's like, oh, we got to take this shit seriously. And
Stadium's great. I love Stadium.
That's gonna touch into my point when we talk about Battlefield 6 and Black Ops 7.
Let's just move on to that because we're already. To be fair, we expected this to go longer than our usual episodes will be because we're catching up on a ton of stuff. But
I will say I'm surprised that they might consider getting rid of DICE because it's like, well, Battlefield 6 might be the thing they're looking for.
That doesn't mean getting rid of DICE doesn't mean getting rid of Battlefield. Because
that's fair.
So like they could keep us because how many teams are working on Battlefield outside of DICE? It's because we know it's not just DICE.
Yeah.
So do they want to if after the game launches are they going to keep the sports studios and just have them on Battlefield? Like if they get rid of DICE, because again, they don't need to sell the Battlefield IP if they sell DICE.
True.
It's not like when Bungie left or decided to go independent that Microsoft all of a sudden was like, let's get rid of Halo.
Yeah.
I don't think if BioWare goes away that they're going to get to maintain. They're going to get to retain Dragon Age or Mass Effect unless the buyer wants to buys
those assets. Yeah.
Which and you probably need totally on the table.
Yeah,
but
we don't know what's going to happen.
Future. What's in the immediate future?
The very immediate future.
Literally tomorrow / today, because people are playing the game right now. The reviews went up, didn't they? I'll pull up reviews while you talk.
They're very good. So we're talking about Battlefield 6. It is coming out tomorrow. This is a very important. I mean, obviously, with all this EA stuff like looming in the far distance, this is a very important Battlefield release for EA. 2042 was far below expectations. They will be the first ones to tell you that. Technical problems, a lack of content, a class system that people didn't really like. It didn't really feel like Battlefield. And now they have a real opportunity to go back to the Battlefield, like the Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4. Those were the prime. Those were like when Battlefield was really at its peak. And a lot of the reviews say that this new one is very much like that. And they're also trying to capitalize a little bit on what people are calling Call of Duty fatigue. Just like the same yearly Call of Duty, but also continuously moving toward like a Fortnite-ification of it, where, there's all these cartoonish guns and like operators you play as like it started. Who was like the first one? Like Kevin Durant and Neymar, and it was like, okay, at least they look like real people, or they are real people and they look like real people. Then it's like Snoop Dogg. It's like, okay, yeah, sure, fine. But then it gets into like animated characters. Like I'm pretty sure are Rick and Morty in this, or like Stan Smith from American Dad. And now we're in the Fortnite era of Call of Duty.
Does Stan Smith have the rocket boot?
He should. He better.
If he doesn't, then I'm not buying. I wasn't gonna buy anyways.
You were gonna buy. You were gonna buy.
You think I'm buying Call of Duty?
Well, I played the beta because I got open beta access, and I was like, I'll try it. And I'm like, and it's weird. It's like this is the exact same, or not the exact same, but it's pretty much the same thing as every other Call of Duty. But it always just scratches that little itch in the back of my head where it's like I can just run around and shoot fast, and like it's like but let's get back into.
Yeah. So review wise, so this is from OpenCritic. Obviously, it's sitting at a mighty 84 from critics, 91% from players who have gotten in early impressions. I'll read a couple excerpts. This is Richard Wakeling from GameSpot. Battlefield 6 plays it safe, but marks a return to form for the long-running series, delivering chaotic, large-scale multiplayer that's as familiar as it is uproariously fun. That's an 8 out of 10. A good chunk from the VG 247 review, who doesn't list who's reviewing that for some reason, but as it is right now, with the quality and quantity of content in the launch package of Battlefield 6, it is incredibly easy to recommend the game to anyone who enjoys multiplayer shooters. It's an especially exciting proposition for those of us who just cannot keep up with Call of Duty's roller skates-based movement and its instantaneous time to kill. There's finally a compelling middle ground between the indecipherability of tactical shooters and the yearly slop of COD, and it's one you won't have to convince yourself to play simply because it's there. You'll do it with a big grin on your face because of how fun it is. That's a 4 out of 5 stars. Let me get the name on that one real quick, and then I've got one more that I want to read out before I give like the biggest negative one that I saw was from IGN. I'll read that in a second too. That is from Sharif Saeed, I believe is how you pronounce that, from VG247, and then Rick Lane from Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5, and it's Battlefield 6 delivers a thrilling multiplayer reset and a decent, if derivative, single player, but it still displays nagging doubts about what makes Battlefield special. And then obviously Simon Carty, IGN, gave it a 5 out of 10. Said a safe, dull reimagining of what Battlefield once was, rather a bold reinvention of what it could be. So,
I'm not gonna be like the IGN hater, but the fact that they gave 20, and I know it's different writers. It's not IGN giving this score, it is the writer who is writing for IGN giving this score. The fact that it got that someone at IGN gave Battlefield 2042 a 7 and then gave this one a 5 is mind-blowing. It's like all the other, it's like the scores are reversed. It's like all the critics were like 2042 kind of mid, kind of disappointing, missing its mark. IGN's like, actually, it's really good. And then for this one, it's the other. And it's like, they're not beating the IGN just wants to be contrarian arguments. But but again, it's like again, and I'm not going to be the one who's like, I those people who are like, oh, how could you, like, reviews are always subjective. It's not like, again, it's the person writing it. It's not the outlet. And I'm not saying go bother the person, to people who write those. Although if people are listening to this podcast, I doubt they're hassling journalists.
They're not.
If you listen to this podcast, you know how tough it is to be a fucking games journalist.
Yep.
So
we can give you, we can talk about that for when we open reader submissions in terms of like questions and stuff. Feel free to ask us about reviewing games, because both of us, not like classically trained critics, like we didn't go to school for like critics or whatever. I will say one of the people I want to bring on at some point is my buddy Will, who went to school for like to be a critic, film critic. He's an author and stuff. It does game reviews and previews and stuff. I want to bring him on to talk about the critic angle of like games journalism and like how tough it is to like exist in that space. But regardless, back to this point,
this is a big Battlefield. Also, just to finish the 2042 comparisons, the average critic among critics for 2042 was a 65. 33% of critics recommended the game, and its player rating was 60. Obviously, with Battlefield 6, the critic average is 84. That's almost a 20-point increase. Critics recommend 91%, a huge jump from 33%. There's no player rating yet because it's new. 20 more players need to rate it before that happens. But so far, critic-wise, I mean, with the exception of IGN, everyone's like, this is the return to form.
People are high on it. It's usually getting an 80 or above from most people. People are excited about it. It's got. No, I'm not going to say it has Microsoft and Activision sweating, but they are clearly aware, because they are making Battlefield 6 or Battlefront, not Battlefront. Jesus Christ,
Black Ops
6
free for the week
is going to be free for an entire week starting tomorrow. Which they are actively trying to undercut the launch of Battlefront or Battlefield, because
I think these are connected a little bit.
maybe a little bit. Maybe they're a little worried about losing some of their audience. Now, to be fair, again, this is from Game Mess, which I recommend everybody go listen to Game Mess, Grubb, and whoever he brings on as guests every time. Always provide great insight into the various topics and stuff. But Matt Pescatello was talking about how a lot of the audience that is going to buy Battlefield 6 also say that they are going to buy Black Ops 7 regardless.
Yes.
But there is a distinct overlap of audience that if they like Battlefield 6, they might not buy Black Ops 7, or it might not jump on early. So to the point of this getting a free to play weekend, I believe Black Ops 6 was in the top 4 of games in terms of overall sales every month of the summer.
Yep.
Even though it's almost a year old and there's a new game coming out. So the fact that they're putting it free for a week.
Yeah, the fact that they're this worried is an interesting sign. Because this is sign. Like with the, I mean, yeah. Here's the thing: as we kind of alluded to with the Marvel Rivals and Overwatch 2, when we talked about that for a little bit, competition is great. Like Marvel Rivals got Overwatch 2 to like wake up and be like, hey, like you're in a fight. You need to start fighting back.
Communication. Hey, communication about things. Hey, let's try and innovate a little bit. Let's have some player agency a little bit.
Yeah, and so I don't know if this Black Ops 7, based on what I played in the beta, really innovates enough. I know you can like do little wall bouncing, and that's really it. But then again, I don't think they really want to innovate too much because, like you said, this has been a game that has been in the top 10 of the player base and player sales since it came out. And so, but I just do think it does feel bigger this time around because with, Game Pass doing this price increase, and obviously people who, they want to get people, it's like, hey, Call of Duty's on here. Like if you get Ultimate, you get Black Ops 7. And so, and then with obviously with the EA stuff in the background, I feel like for both studios and for both games, this is going to be a big head to head. So I'm really interested in January when we're looking at like holiday numbers and we're looking at sales numbers to see how each of these two did. I'm looking forward to that number.
Let's put it this way:
those data. And playing Battlefield 6. Maybe I'll do Black Ops 7, but I think I'm definitely getting sick.
Well, in the discussion with this, me as a non-first person shooter person, as you well know, when the only Call of Duty I ever purchased was Black Ops 2 for PS3, because some friends in high school were like, "Hey, you should play this game with us. You would enjoy it," and I was like, "Okay, sure." So I got that. I also bought Battlefield 4. I like Battlefield 4 much more. So, if I was,
and that was a good Black Ops. Black Ops 2 is a good Black Ops.
To be fair, I enjoyed Black Ops 2 for what I played of it. I played probably a couple months of the multiplayer, which is more than I can say for a lot of first-person shooters. So, I enjoyed it. I played a lot of it. I think I got to near max rank or something in that time period. Regardless, I'm excited for the competition aspect of this. I'm not getting Battlefield 6, at least not at launch, and I probably won't, especially with the Saudi stuff. But and I'm probably not going to play Black Ops ever. Like I probably won't touch that. But I'm excited for the element of competition because that always breeds better games that have it, more improvement, more stuff for the player.
Definitely.
But let's quickly touch on this. I want to more so touch on the kind of like game of the year crop than the notable releases, because everybody knows what the big games this year are. Obviously, you've listed a couple things here. I want to shout out specifically some stuff we haven't talked about yet, which is Doom: The Dark Ages, Elden Ring Night Reign, Hollow Knight Silksong, Death Stranding 2, and then we touched a little bit on Monster Hunter Wilds because I played a lot of that, and I'm about to go back to it for some of the extra stuff that they've released post-launch.
And just in the last 2 weeks, Hades 2. That's going to be another contender.
Hades 2. So here is the current list of games that have released via Metacritic, so only games that have been reviewed this year and have enough stuff to stick on Metacritic, that have received a 90 or higher. And there's only 6 games. It's Hades 2, which is the most recent edition, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Hollow Knight Silksong, Split Fiction, Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and Blueprints. So that is kind of like, I've seen some people mention Split Fiction, but a lot of people are a little less high on Split Fiction than they were on It Takes Two. I've heard a lot of complaints about the writing. Obviously, you played it, right? I haven't got a chance to play it.
Steph and I have gotten through a good portion of it. I wouldn't say we finished it, but I think that the writing in both games is fun and campy and silly. But in terms of like, I can see people being like, if you enjoyed It Takes Two, you're definitely gonna enjoy this game. It's more of it goes in some new directions. The sci-fi and fantasy stuff is both really cool. I think the fantasy, because like the premise is like the two women you play as are both writers. One's like a sci-fi writer and one's like a fantasy writer. And the sci-fi, the fantasy stuff is definitely more enjoyable. The sci-fi stuff, just because like I think it's just a problem with sci-fi in general. It's like it's hard. It's like generic sci-fi versus generic fantasy. Fantasy is a little more whimsical and fun and colorful, and that's really my own major criticism with the game. There's like a lot of like campy, like, because first they're like the two women are like kind of like butting heads with each other, but then they learn more about each other and develop a friendship. And so some of the writing's like a little silly, a little campy, but it's like, you know, I just kind of, you know, it's not enough to like take me out of the game. Like, is it as stellar as like the writing in like Hades or Clair Obscur Expedition 33? No. And that's part of the reason that those games are going to be like the two, I think, front runners for Game of the Year. But Split Fiction's excellent, especially if you want like a local co-op game to play with your partner or a roommate or anything. This is, or a friend, because you can play online as well. It doesn't have to be local co-op. I can't recommend this enough. Very, very fun game.
I think these are clearly the 6 front runners. Obviously, Blueprints is going to be the dark horse, just because that's like the game that everybody's friend that's in the industry who's played Blueprints has Blueprints in there.
This is this year's this is the 2025 version of Balatro.
Yes, but it's also a puzzle game, so it's definitely not going to stick as easy. Like, yeah. It's not going to have the mass appeal of what Balatro had. It is definitely more niche.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's the one game, except for Hollow Knight Silksong. That Hollow Knight Silksong Blueprints are the ones that I haven't played yet, and so I'll have to get into that before we get into it.
Blueprints is on my list of post Pokemon games to get to.
Do you want to know what my favorite game on this list is?
What? That Donkey Kong, yeah, that's mine.
Oh man, so Dan Reichert said this on a Giant Bombcast when we were talking about this game, and they talked about this game for a lot because obviously this game rules. He brought up how like this is the fastest, like it's the fastest time from starting the game to like instantly feeling like, oh yeah, this is super fun. Like it is instant. 100%. Like, there's no, like as soon as you start, you smash one thing, which happens like a second after you start the game, you're like, I'm in. Like I'm in for the long haul. This I get, like, and just the diversity in like the like all the different like, it's like it doesn't even like feel like a loop, even though it's just, you know, smashing and grabbing and fighting and boss battles. And my one complaint, I don't know why I keep bringing up like my single complaints. My one complaint is the boss fights are a little too easy.
Yeah. But so were Mario Odysseys were the exact same way.
Yeah.
At least these are like more interactive than the Mario ones, because you're constantly able to do something.
Yeah, and like what's cool is the different like powers you unlock and abilities, like they do offer like there's also like unique ways to like, you don't have to like, there are a couple times where I would like solve a challenge or find a collectible not doing the way that like the game wants you to, and just like, oh, I did this instead, and they're like, sure, whatever. You're the monkey, you're in charge. And like, yeah, just like do it, and like I'm like, oh, I gotta get these outfits. Like I gotta collect enough things to get all these special outfits. Oh, the outfits there's a skill tree, and like, oh, and there's like the outfits have buffs and effects. Something. Yeah, it's less of a skill tree, just sort of like different, like as you unlock powers, they come with like special like attributes that you can, and like effects that you can add to those powers. And like it's not like a Dragon Age or like a Diablo skill tree. It's nothing like that. It's not as scary as that, but just a super fun game. Yeah, that was my favorite so far this year.
Yeah, let me this pivots pretty well into our conversation about the Switch too. We're not going to touch too much on like stuff. It's selling really well. It's outpacing the PlayStation 4 in the United States. So it's doing really solid, especially since it's the only console that hasn't price hiked since it's cheaper than the other consoles still. Wait, did I say 500? It's 400, right?
$500 for the I think so.
I can't remember how much the console was either. Now I'm second guessing myself from an hour ago. Regardless, just run a fact check on that. I mean, you can just go look on Amazon. There hasn't been a price increase, but I think it was $450 actually. Regardless of the console price, we both got Switch 2s at launch. We've both been playing Switch 2. We obviously really like Donkey Kong Bonanza. We both played Mario Kart.
The Switch 2 on its own is $450. The bundle with Mario Kart is $500. Or the bundle with Pokemon Z Day.
Pokemon, is $500 or is $500.
Which is a newer bundle.
Yep, that's one
that one was not at launch.
Yes. So
the big lineup right now is Mario Kart World obviously was the launch title, Bonanza, and then now Pokemon Legends Z-Day. That feels like the third of their big three.
Yep.
But there's also Metroid. Kirby Air Riders is coming. They had a new Super Mario Brother. Super Mario
I want to play Kirby so bad, but I'm not spending $70 for Air Riders.
It's a big ask for Air Riders.
The $70 price point. I don't want to lay on this too much because it's not just Nintendo that does it, except for Nintendo just doesn't decrease the price of their games beyond like $40 most of the time. So, it's got me questioning purchases more. Just like in general, I find myself being like, I'm not buying that game for $70.
My cat's dinner went off, so Kieran, get it.
Yeah.
No, I'm probably not going to get Air Riders, but I'm very happy with the Switch. Like I said, right now I'm playing Star Wars Outlaws on the Switch 2, not Star Wars Outlaws 2. I'm really enjoying it. It runs it doesn't run as well as it does on PC. No, but for a Switch 2 port, it runs very well. It looks great on the big screen. Handheld, of course a game like that's going to be pretty. I mean, actually, I get a good 2, sometimes 3 hours out of the battery playing out.
I've gotten 3 hours pretty consistently out of playing some games on there. I've been
ironically like that, I think that's really good.
Ironically, I haven't gone back. I want to go back to Tears of the Kingdom with that Switch 2 upgrade because I got it as part of the Switch Online. But I've been playing through some of the NSO offerings that I haven't really touched because I never really played like some of the GameCube games that are already on there, like Chibi Robo. I never really touched, so I'm on and off going to play that. Jumping into some stuff here. I'm replaying F-Zero GX, which I love. But yeah, I really like Switch 2. I think it's awesome as an upgraded console. I bought on sale the Cyberpunk port. So I'm going to play Cyberpunk for the first time on Switch.
I also heard that was a really good port.
Yeah, great port. I did a bunch of research into it before I sprung on it because it was still pretty expensive. It was still like $45.
Other people. Speaking of CD Projekt Red, Steph and I just went to The Witcher in concert here in Chicago. We had to swim through a swarm of ice agents to get. No, I'm kidding. We didn't have to, but. They're there and it sucks, but no, it was a great show. We went to the auditorium theater and it was excellent. They really killed it. So that was awesome. But yeah, I have pets that require feeding, so I think we hit on all the stories we didn't hit on everything that happened over the past 8 months, but I think we hit on everything that really the big stuff. And I guess what are we looking forward to in the future? We have to end on some positives, right?
I mean, Pokemon comes out in a week.
It does. Battlefield comes out tomorrow.
We'll do our catch up next time in terms of our what's been going on with us and what's been doing what's going on in the industry and whatnot. But I did get to play the game early. I got to play a chunk of ZA early. I really enjoyed it. It was a chunk of you got to play a chunk that was one of the first times you're involved in the battle royale in the story, where you're going around battling trainers to get points to level up from Z to A to get to rank A in the battle royale standings. And then you got to do a mega rogue mega raid, rogue mega encounter, not raid, but it's a mix of like a raid battle and the boss battles from Legends Arceus with like some twist. I love the new gameplay style. It's very Xenoblade, very like turn-based, but live combat. You're interacting constantly. Yeah. It feels like you're going to be very engaged. You're going to be constantly thinking about what your next move, your cooldowns, what Pokemon can switch in where. Very fun. I think I'm gonna like it more than I like Arceus, and I like Arceus a lot. This is probably the first Pokemon game that I'm in my mind excited for as a potential like game of the year, like contender, which hasn't happened since like Black and White 2 probably.
Yeah.
So like over a decade. I'm that's the thing I'm most excited for through the end of the year. Obviously, I'm excited to continue going back and playing some of these older games. I'm excited to get a Blueprints. I'm excited to do all these other things. I want to go finish Clair Obscur because I'm still haven't finished that. But there's a lot of good games that I'm still excited for. But Pokemon is definitely at the top of that list, especially now that we know that it has online for the first time in this like era of Legends games, and then we know that the VGC portion of Pokemon is going to transition early next year into Champions, which is the free-to-play kind of battle sim that they're releasing.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of like change in how Pokemon is operating as a franchise and how it's interconnecting with other games and whatnot. So that has me excited for the future for the first time in a while for Pokemon.
Hell yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And that's coming out next week, right?
Yep, comes out on the 16th, which is a Wednesday for some reason.
Nice. Right in the
I
middle of the week.
don't really understand that one, but I'm not gonna complain. I just hope I get my copy. The Pokemon is the one of the very few games that I get physically, so I'm hoping I get my copy like early-ish so I can start playing. Because hey, depending on how things go in the next week, this might be the first Pokemon game in almost a decade that I don't cover. Like I'll just get to sit for a weekend and play Pokemon without having to answer to an editor.
Well, I was gonna say if we do this next week, then we can talk all about Pokemon. We can that can be our big talking point. Is we can now that we've addressed the past, we can look ahead to the future, and we can talk shop on Pokemon.
There's a lot of Pokemon talk. I talk to a lot of people at Worlds.
Okay, all right. I want to hear all about it.
So, what about you, Scott? Let's end on what you're excited for.
I do. You know what? I really want to play some Battlefield tomorrow. I'm really excited about that. I have kicked my addiction to Uma Musume Pretty Derby. It really kind of got its hooks in me during the summer. But I feel kind of free. I'm not like, oh, I need to do my dailies. I got to check in. I got to do my careers every day. It's like, no, I think I'm good. Like, I think I'm good.
The horses will get you back eventually.
But I've said a bunch. I am enjoying finally actually playing through Star Wars Outlaws. I tried to play like a couple like when it came out, but like some other games came out. And then like there's a weird thing where like I was like my Ubisoft Connect account was being weird, and there was like I was using like the service, like the subscription service for a while. And then there's even some problems here where I had to like. I got it for Switch 2. Then I was like, maybe I would just prefer it on PC. But then Best Buy wouldn't let me return it to Switch to because it's like a physical version. And then also the PC version doesn't let me return it either. So it's like, all right, well I guess I bought it twice. But I'm happy to support this game because I feel like it got shit on a lot, and some of it was deserved. But like. It's like Cyberpunk Light, where it's like not that the gameplay's like Cyberpunk, but it's like it follows that mode of like, all right, we're gonna keep updating this game and adding stuff and fixing things, which I guess everyone just does now. But I'm enjoying it. I like the world it's in. I like the atmosphere. It feels very Star Wars. I like that you don't. It's funny. It's like the biggest complaint was like, oh, there are times where if you get caught, if you're doing stealth instead of like it breaks and like people like stealth, you get caught, that it'll just end the mission. And people didn't like that. It's like, oh, I want to be able to blast people. But it's funny because every time when I get caught doing stealth, I restart the mission anyway. So like for me, that was never a big issue. But I'm glad it gives people the option. But for me, when I'm doing stealth,
that's why I didn't play the game because
when I do stealth and I get caught, I'm like, I have to start over.
That's why I didn't play the game initially, is because other stuff was coming out too. But like, yeah. The main thing was like, oh, I like the option of being able to go in quietly or go in loud. Because I don't really like stealth that stuff outside of like Metal Gear a lot of the time. So I was like, oh, I like the option to having that option to go loud whenever I feel like it. And then it just didn't function some of the time.
It originally did for the most part, but there were certain like main questline story missions that were like you had to be stealthy, mostly because there was like a set piece or something coming up in the mission later where if you went in guns blazing, then that part of the story wouldn't make sense. So like it wasn't that like upsetting that this happened, but I understand like if you market it like a big part, because this didn't help, but a big part of the marketing was like, oh, you can go stealth or go loud, it's your choice, and then in some missions it took that choice away from you. That's really where the outrage came from. Even though if like going in loud wouldn't make sense for the story, but they fix it all, and so you can't go in loud, so it's like, but it is kind of funny to just not break it, but it just kind of de-immerse you if you did work to go in a certain mission loud, and then you like get to like a cutscene, you're like. And you're like, all right, we're being quiet here. Meanwhile, you just like rampage through 2 rooms, blasting away. It's like, all right, now we're sneaking again. But I'm having fun. But I'm gonna get into some Battlefield tomorrow. I played the Black Ops 7's beta, and I went, this is fine. Not for me this time around. I'm not gonna get it. For me, Call of Duties have now gone the way of 2K, where it's like each year I'm just a little less interested until I stop playing it.
I know 2K
and I feel like that's
bad
all
now.
That's also gonna. Oh, okay. It's bad
no,
now.
No. I say bad now. Like it hasn't been bad before. I stopped buying 2K at launch last year because I kicked my addiction to. I don't play my team or my I GM. Do like I do my player for like a week at launch.
Yeah.
But then I am like, nah, I'm good. I'm not going through the dumb story that they have every year. Or like dealing with whatever celebrity guest they have around the corner that I have to go like take selfies with and do skateboard tricks with or whatever. I only got it for my GM, which sucks. I don't know about the current game. I don't know about the new one if they've updated it or like changed it at all.
Couldn't tell you.
But my GM and just like the franchise mode essentially is all I played, and that was my version of what you said with Skate earlier, where I would turn it on. Start my franchise with a team that I was, or a team, or in a time period, or with a player that I wanted to build around, and I do that while I watch YouTube or watch anime or listen to a podcast, and I would play
comfort background game.
400 hours of that game every year, and I finally was like, no, I can't do this again. There's too many other games. There's too many things I want to do, like that I can't waste 400 hours just sitting on menus.
This was me in 2021. This is when I had this moment with 2K.
Yeah.
I was like, I think I'm good.
Well,
I think
the
I'm
reason
out.
I know it's bad is because my little cousin was over here last night. We went and got dinner, and then he wanted to watch. He's been the last year he's been getting into movies, so he got like a list of like 400 movies that he's trying to get through. But he doesn't have a lot of animated movies on there, and he was like, "Can you get me some animated movies?" And I'm like, "Do you want to watch the first Slam Dunk?" Because Slam Dunk is my favorite manga of all time, and they released the movie. And he was like, yeah, but he's a big basketball guy. So while we were watching the movie, he's like, do you still play 2K? And I was like, no. And he's like, yeah, I only play it with my friends now. I only do go to like the my park. I don't even do like any of the other stuff anymore. Like I don't do my team that much anymore. I was like, if they lost him, boy, they've screwed up, because he
they still got him in my park. They still
like he still buys the game, but like he doesn't spend money on my team. Like if you've lost
like the ultimate team
the card so like if you lost my cousin who watches 82 Lakers games a year, listens to nothing but basketball podcasts, watches basketball, flies out to the Vegas to go to summer league every year, and like has friends that play 2K. If you lost him as like a cow,
you're in trouble.
And be like, he's not your whale anymore. Ooh, boy, you got issues.
I mean, they've had issues for a long time. That's not surprised, but
you know what, Scott?
I think college football is going to be like that for me, where it's like I'm definitely playing. I got the new one this year. I've definitely played way less of it than I played last year.
Well, I bought last year's.
Yeah, but you said you did buy last.
Yeah, I bought last year's. I played.
Yeah, it's just like
I did the franchise mode for a while. I played for a couple weeks.
The improvements of you mean Dynasty for college?
Dynasty, yeah, Dynasty mode.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm not touching Madden. Fuck that. But like the improvements are really like not that impressive, and really now that like this insane that if you're trying to rebuild a school, no matter who you're rebuilding, but especially if you're a smaller school, the transfer portal is a fucking nightmare. It turns Dynasty mode into a roguelite because you lose all your good players to it's like, oh wow, great job building up, like getting these freshmen, getting these gems, improving these players, great job. But you're in a smaller market, even though you're playing well, and so 20 players are gonna leave. It's like, great. And then it's like, then they show you a list of like 20 players who are gonna live, and who are gonna leave, and it's like you have 6 opportunities to convince them to stay, and their chances of staying range from none to like very low. It's like very low is like the best case scenario of them.
It's one of those scenarios where it's if you're playing the big school, you have all the opportunities and you're not likely to lose your players. But if you're playing the small schools, you are having more fun in the once you're in the actual action. But you're playing a spreadsheet.
And I don't want to play Dynasty and do a big school. It's like, oh, I'm gonna take over like this school that's always been good. It's like, that's boring. It's like, oh, I'm gonna be Oregon. It's like, Oregon's always competitive. They haven't won a title, but they're always competitive, and they have any recruit they want. There's no challenge in that. It's like, I want to play Bowling Green or like University of Alabama at Birmingham. Like, not even the Tuscaloosa one. Like, it's like, I want a challenge, but But yeah, I'll probably I maybe not do next year's college football. I might be done. But
I'm kind of
done.
Annual releases have kind of lost me, I think, at this point. I don't think there's a game that has annual releases that I mean, it's the same as live service games. Like, I play I'm back on Fire Emblem Heroes right now just because they launched the new mobile game that's like the Among Us. Didn't even talk about that. There's a Fire Emblem Among Us game. Which that
should have been our first story. That's the big story.
Remind me next week, and we'll talk about it.
We'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah,
we'll talk about
because it's something. But I went back to Fire Emblem Heroes because that's like traditional Fire Emblem combat, just a mobile game, and it's a gacha. Just to scratch my Fire Emblem itch because the new game got announced, and I'm like, I want to play Fire Emblem. Did that, and then we play Marvel Rivals.
Yes,
and I've hopped back on Fortnite once since the K-pop Demon Hunter stuff came out to play with our buddy Mango. Probably we'll hop on a couple more times to play with the group when they're kind of in on it. We'll see how the Marvel Rivals new season shakes up, because that might be we play for a week and then it's time for a break, depending on how Daredevil makes us feel.
How abusive.
Look,
Daredevil
it's already hell on earth.
There's a new Storm skin, so I'm gonna be there. I will be there no matter what.
Hey, you don't have to spend money on it. It's free. It's the free one. It's the free one. You're me with the pass with the Mantis swimsuit skin. All I wanted was the thing, and he was the free one. So
I did want that Mantis swimsuit skin. I wanted all the swimsuit skins, men and women, and bricks and big things. Yeah,
you'll hear more about us, our Marvel Rival escapades, probably every week because we still play the game. But we'll talk more about what's been up with us, some event stuff, and kind of more we'll be back to talking about more of the weekly news and kind of just some other topics next week. So if you've listened this long, this is by far our longest episode of the podcast, even when we were doing it before. So thanks for tuning back into our kind of relaunch. We're gonna try and keep it we're going to try and keep it consistent, weekly uploads, whether it's me and Scott, or if I need to pull a guest on, or if Scott needs to pull a guest on. We're going to try and be consistent, have some guests on eventually. But thanks for listening. If you have any specifics that you listen, any comments you want to leave about what we talked about today, or if you have questions about the industry, kind of the impact of any of the stuff on the industry, or our further opinions that you want us to share, feel free to drop them below. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if you can comment on Spotify. I think you can now, but
yes, you can. I've seen that.
If you have the ability to comment on your podcast service of choice, or you're watching on YouTube, feel free to drop a comment, questions. I'll try and give those a read and pop a few of them if there are any into the next episode. But yeah, so thanks for listening. God knows we're gonna try and be timely moving forward. So stay tuned, subscribe, all that BS. If you want to leave us a rating, feel free. If you leave us a 5-star rating, tell us your favorite soup. That's kind of it. I want to know your favorite soup. Favorite soup and your favorite time of year to eat that soup. Let's keep it time themed. So, but until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Bye, y'all.